Good evening, folks, and welcome back to APPF1 for tonight's dose of racing action for a sprint weekend, or sprint evening, I should say, with a twist. We're at Silverstone, as you can see. However, it is Silverstone the right way round to start off with. One-shot qualifying and then a 9-lap sprint race, which will determine the top 8 for points. And then we go on once again the wrong way round for another one-shot qualifying session and a 26-lap race around Silverstone the wrong way round. Exciting stuff, confusing, but it was a lot of fun on Tuesday, a lot of fun on Monday. Let's see how it goes for Friday here. We're going to ride on board with Kylo Ren, most likely. Let me find him very quickly for you. Kylo, come on. There he is. That's Griffin. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to find the drivers. Where is Kylo Ren? Ah! God, this sucks. Oh, we had him just a second. There he is. Oh, trying to move around with this is dumb. Okay, there he is. Right, we're going through Brooklands and then into Luffield now. We've missed the first part of the lap, but that's fine. Let's cut off the spectator menu. Continue to ride on board. Dakar is currently leading the way in this one-shot qualifying session. Through Woodcock goes Kylo Ren in the Red Bull. And now we're going for a trip through Cops. And it flat through there for Kylo, it looked like. But down in 7th is the championship leader. Currently it's Dakar, Tomasz, Hugo, LTB. It's all changing around at the top. Tomasz said he wasn't feeling confident for the one shot. Kylo Ren is just sitting around that mid-pack, but he's closing that time in. There's only a few corners left now. Trip round Stowe corner is next to come as we go through Stowe now. Let's see if Kylo can find more time coming through the final sector now. P5 currently, it's looking like a 1-2 for the Saubers, but LTB might get himself involved. Let's see how they come across the line through Club Corner now onto the Hamilton Straight, and it's Dakar 26-0 who's going to take pole here at Silverstone the right way around. Kylo Ren manages to pull up to 2nd place, so a much better go for him. We'll take a proper look at the results. It's always confusing one-shot qualifying, but we'll take a look through the results. It is Dakar who is leading the way on pole position for the first race this evening, with Kylo Ren lining up alongside him. Very close between the top 5 or 6 drivers, but you've got Tomasz, Kevin O'Reilly, LTB, and Kvyat Verstappen, Hugo, Griffin, Rick, and Jasper, the top 10. You've then got Josh Lewis, Palang, Johnny Carr, the newbie, Koru, Lawrence, Jackalacco, and Joey B, the 18 drivers on the grid. This could be a very interesting sprint race. You've got Hugo and Verstappen somewhat out of position there. They'll be trying to find their way up the grid as well as battle each other. It's Red Bull versus Sauber in the championship thus far. But we'll take a moment perhaps to run you through the championship order while we've got a few moments as Johnny Carr has left the session. Kylo Ren is currently leading the way. He's 11 points clear of Dakar, 18 points clear of Verstappen there as well in P3. You've then got Finley and Josh P4 and 5, and it's going to be a very wet race. That might be intermediates actually, but we'll find out soon enough. You've then got Ghost, Paulie Orange, MX, Tomasz, Lewis, Griffin, Jasper, MX, Tomasz, Lewis the top 10, then Griffin, Jasper, Palang, Hugo, Jackalacco, myself, Koru, Kevin, Rick, and Lawrence the top 20, and a constructors fight which sees Sauber lead the way by 43 points ahead of Red Bull, who are on 102, clear ahead of everybody else. You've then got Williams on 80 points, then there's Haas, Ferrari, Alpine the top 6, with RB, Mercedes, Aston Martin, and McLaren rounding off the rest of the constructors. It's going to be an interesting fight. It's going to be all on if Red Bull can close down the Saubers, but they're going to need to start beating them, and let's see if they could do that here in this wet session around Silverstone. It's 5 red lights And we are underway and racing here at Silverstone, and it looks like a very shaky start from everybody, but Dakir's managed to get it away well. Kylo Ren's got him the inside. Tomasz hits the back of the Red Bull there. That might be damage to the Aston Martin, and I think it is from a distance, but the top two get away well. Griffin fighting away with Hugo there as well in the background as Tomasz is losing. Oh no, Tomasz, sorry, that's QVR maybe who was losing the car, or perhaps it was the Mercedes of Kevin O'Reilly. But this wet session throwing up a lot of spray. All the drivers on wet tyres, interestingly. Has anybody tried for the intermediates as they go through? As Lewis is making places up, and that's Rick trying to defend from Palang in the Mercedes there. And then that's Hugo getting the better of Griffin through Luffield. No, Brooklyn, sorry, and now that's Griffin trying to go round the outside of the Alpine there as well. And then further up, you've got Kvyat Verstappen trying to challenge Tomasz. Dakir's got away well. Kylo Ren's still holding out for company. Kevin's dropping back just a little bit, but he's still within that under 1 second mark. No DRS, of course. It's not going to matter as the rain equalises everybody. But off the track now goes, I don't know who that was. It looked like Lewis, perhaps, who went off circuit. But a very chaotic start in this sprint race. Points to the top 8, of course. LTB would be the last point scorer if it all finished now. There's Palang going straight through Maggots and Beckett. Looks like it's wet for everybody on the strategy, and it's wet for everyone but Lawrence, interestingly enough, on the grid. So we'll see how he progresses as Jasper and Palang going side by side through Stowe Corner now. The Mercedes and the Alpine head down the hill, and it's a Palang who gets ahead, but here comes the Alpine again, looking to the inside, doesn't manage to find a gap. Meanwhile, Josh and Jack Alacco, Josh through on the McLaren, Rick through on Johnny Carr there as well. I think that's his AI actually. Johnny Carr, who's a bit further back, but Joey B even is who Rick is fighting with. Meanwhile, back toward the top, Kylo Ren just sticking with Dakir. Lewis fighting away with LTB for that last points paying position. Just a singular point for P8, and it's a point so far for Lewis if he can hold on to it. But Koru is there as well. He's in the background, lurking, looking for a way past this Alpine. Has a little look in towards Brooklands, but thinks better of it. Griffin doing well to hold off Hugo for the time being, but look at that. Red Bull is all over the back of the sister team car, and the sense that the overtake is imminent. Looks to the inside of Cops in these conditions. I think that's very risky move to be making, but one definitely to think about at the very least. Kylo Ren's closing in as well. Both Red Bulls on the attack, but you can see the dirty air affecting this Red Bull car. Running close to the car ahead at Silverstone is treacherous to say the least, and it looks incredibly slidey out there. You can see the rear of this Red Bull just sliding all over the place as he tries to get the power down and the car turned. Meanwhile, back at the front, Kylo Ren came close through Stowe. Lawrence makes a move on Jasper for P12 here. Are those intermediates the better tyre, you have to think, as Koru down the inside of LTB, who tries to hold it around the outside of the Vale chicane, and it's a bit of contact between the two of them, but Koru makes his way through. Josh and Lawrence now having a little bit of a scrap just behind them. Oh, is that Josh and Jasper even, as Jasper almost loses the car and invites Lawrence through as well, who just shuts off the door ahead of Jasper and gets into P13. Opportunistic move from the two-time Tier 2 champion. Meanwhile, Dakir just holding his own, keeping Kylo at arm's length. As now Josh and Palang are going for it, very close between them. Palang almost forced off the road completely there, and Palang has to have given that up, but here comes Lawrence now down the inside of the Mercedes driver, and he gets the place done, and now the other Alpine's going to try it on Palang there as well. The two McLarens are just behind. It's also very slow through Luffield in these conditions, but Rick trying to make his way up on Jasper. They're level as they go through, but into Woodcock now, and that's the McLaren up a place, and he shuts the door as they go in towards Cop's Corner. Some great racing in these conditions so far. Josh trying to continue the progress up ahead. No doing for the time being. Let's get the chat open. There we go. Hello, Johnny Carr. So I've only just seen these. I don't have you added, Johnny Car, but we can try and get you back in for the main race. So hold on tight, mate. As that's Hugo getting past Griffin. In the meantime, it looked like it was into Stowe corner. Finally a move for that P6 position. He can try go on the attack now against Verstappen, as that's the driver he needs to start taking points away from in this Constructors' battle. As Hugo sets the fastest lap there as well, just after Kevin, who's having a fantastic race so far in these wet conditions. On for a podium here in the sprint. Kylo Ren looks for a move, though, for the lead. And it was just a gap that was going to close. And you could sense it was there, but Kylo, I think, just backed off a little bit. Or at least Dakar saw him coming soon enough to not make contact with the Red Bull, but Kylo seems to have some pace in that Red Bull car. He wants to get past, in for the lead. Looks to the outside now of Brooklands as they head in towards Luffield. They're side by side, almost level, these two drivers, and it's going to be the short way round for Kylo Ren. Dakar's going to try and hold it around the outside, and they're going to emerge side by side there as well, and they're going to continue to go side by side as they head down towards Copt Corner now. This is the battle for the lead of this sprint race. Johnny Carr gets back into the session, but Kylo Ren takes the lead as Dakar backs out from a moving Cops, but it's not over yet. Kevin's trying to get involved now for this. He's looking to the outside as they go into Maggotts and Beckett's. This is very dangerous stuff, and just about backs off and has cost them some crucial time to Kylo Ren, and I don't think Dakar will be too pleased with that move from Kevin. But here he comes again, Kevin O'Reilly now. He's got the outside for Stowe corner, but I don't think he's going to fight it into the corner as he gets past before the braking zone and into second place. Dakar now dropping to third, and the Red Bulls will like that. Losing points they are. Lawrence continuing his crusade on the intermediate tyres, and he runs very deep through Stowe, trying to fight with LTB. Goes to the inside. Does LTB give him the space? Oh, there's a little bit of contact. I think LTB thought about turning in on him there. And it's going to be a Frugos Hamilton. It's Frugos Josh on the pair of them. Fantastic racing there. Josh just sniffing out the opportunity. Rick now all over the back of Lawrence there as well. This is some great fighting in these treacherous conditions. And Lawrence still going for it. He's going to be on the inside now of Farm. No, it's Village. And then the loop is going to get it as well. LTB going to lose another place, is he, to Rick in the McLaren? No, he forces the McLaren off wide and keeps the position. That might be one for the stewards later on, but Josh, I think he'll be smiling with that one. Especially since we got it on stream. Fantastic racing. Meanwhile, Verstappen trying to hunt down Tomasz, who's trying to hunt down Verstappen's teammate Dakar there for that final spot on this sprint podium. Tomasz, a bit of a dark horse really in this competition. I don't think he's necessarily in the championship hunt, as there's a big battle going on for these last few places on the sprint. But he's been certainly up there throughout the majority of the rounds, at least the ones I've seen. Putting it in on pole, getting in amongst these big boys here. And I think that's really what Red Bull need. They need, if they're not taking points off of the Saubers, then they need other teams to do it. Yeah, through goes Josh Ghost. That was amazing. I mean, we could have said through goes Hamilton Merck if it was still his name. So it still works, as Jasper has dropped like a stone. I wonder if he's made a mistake and it's allowed everybody behind him to come through. I don't want telemetry, we don't want lap data on the track map. There you go. Now, I knew I was missing something, as I think that's Jasper coming into the pits to retire from this race. Wet races are never the easiest of things, but Jasper done on that occasion. Meanwhile, Verstappen and Dakar, I should say, leading the way. This is the fight for third place. I think P1, P2 checked out, although Kevin O'Reilly is looking a bit racy. He's trying to close that gap to Kylo Ren, but I don't know, struggles on the exit of Luffield there and loses some time and momentum through the corner. Palang continues his torrid season, defending champion, of course, and has been absolutely nowhere so far this season. But anyway, this is the fight we're interested in now. You've got Daker, Tomasz, Verstappen, Hugo Lewis all fighting in this train for P3 here. Kevin still not quite catching up to Kylo Ren, and I think you sense an opportunity perhaps for Hugo. Hugo's got both of those Saubers in his sights. He wants to finish ahead of both if he can help it, but he's got to try and make something audacious, or he's got to wait for a mistake. But the laps are ticking down and down and down. We're going to have 3 laps once the drivers make their way through this corner, 7, 8 and 9. And the opportunities are running out by the second. Let's see, Daker has opened up a bit of a gap now, so relieved some of that pressure that Tomasz was putting him under. There's Lawrence with the fastest lap of the race. He's trying to hunt down Josh for P10. I think you can sense points. It's a bit off the cards for these drivers here, as well as Koru, who's just within touching distance almost. Griffin's just ahead there. Koru could see him just up the road, but there's just no doing for right now. And 3 seconds is going to make matters worse for Koru in his efforts, but he won't lose a place so long as Josh doesn't close in. Meanwhile, Tomasz is closed back up to Daker now. Lewis getting very close to the back of Hugo. Around this Palang in the background. That's not a good sign for his championship. Can you scroll through results at the end of each session, if you remember? Yes, of course. Where were we? Daker. The race a little bit stagnant now. Everybody's sort of settled down into that rhythm of wherever racing. There's a little mistake there. I think that was Verstappen maybe, and that's put him under pressure now from Hugo, who's going to draw alongside him now. As I was saying, the race was getting a bit dry, pun intended. Action starts once again, but Hugo unable to find a way around the outside of the Sauber. Is he going to attack into Vale? Yes, he is. Down the inside, he's going to go for a late braking move, and he locks up the brakes. He slides through the corner, and Verstappen is still there on the inside. They're still side by side as they go through the Vale chicane. And they're going to be side by side through Club, are they, as well? Not quite. Hugo just pulls ahead as Verstappen forced to just slot behind the Red Bull, and that's crucial points in this Constructors' Championship. Tomasz with 3 seconds as well, so he'll lose out in this fight for the podium, and that'll give Hugo yet another place, but it will give Verstappen one as well, so not too many points lost at all in the Constructors. That's LTB and Joey B both out in the pit lane. Their race is over respectively. I don't know if an incident happened between them and they both got damage, but a big move from Hugo. Opportunistic, you feel, as Verstappen made a little error through Chapel, and that invited Hugo to use his momentum on his exit to get a move done. There's about a lap and a half remaining. The leader's still checked out. We're still focusing on the battle up here. It's a bit of a moot point if for Tomasz at the moment, as he's got that 3-second time penalty. That's going to drop him down to at least 7th. Griffin, however... Ooh, Lawrence might be in for a point here in this sprint race. You can see Griffin. There he is, just going for exit of Chapel now. As Hugo gets past Tomasz, as Tomasz is off the road, in fact, and is going to plummet all the way down. That could be a couple of points now for Lawrence, and maybe even Josh if he can close in on the final lap. But the intermediate gamble perhaps paying off for Lawrence, as you can see those drivers with time penalties all ahead of him there as well. He won't know that Griffin has a time penalty. Or no, he will know that Griffin has a time penalty, so actually he might know that he is on for 7th. He's just got to hold on. And there will be at least one Aston Martin in the points. But all the gaps a bit stagnant now here, though, at the top 4. Lewis is the only one who can really make a challenge for a position on Verstappen, but can he get close enough, as he's trying to wrangle that car through the loop there and in towards Aintree now. Just so slippery out on this Silverstone circuit in these conditions. It's very tricky to get the car moving, but Kevin O'Reilly, I think he'll be happy with his session so far. And that's some great stuff for him. But Lawrence close to the back of Koru now. He hasn't got to make any silly or audacious moves. He's just got to stay there, really. I mean, if he wants to go after Lewis, then perhaps he can. But getting ahead of 3 cars in this short time is a little bit too ambitious. But if he can stay exactly where he is, no mistakes for these last few corners of the lap, then that's going to be Lawrence with some very valuable points at the end of this sprint race. But Kylo Ren has done fantastically to hold on to it. It's looked so treacherous out there, and he's going to get the better of Dakar and Kevin and the rest of the grid today as he comes through, unless he makes a mistake into this Vale chicane. You can see Hugo in the background getting very close to Dakar, but he ran very deep in towards Stowe Corner. But here comes Kylo Ren to take the checkered flag. Through Club Corner he comes to win the sprint race the right way round through Silverstone, and Dakar takes that final spot on the podium. There's Hugo as well, who takes the fastest lap as well. And is that going to be Lawrence into P7? Yes, it is. And that's 2 points there for Lawrence. I think he'll be happy with that after a somewhat disappointing Tier 2 outing for him. And then Griffin takes that final point there as well. That was an exciting sprint race. Wet races aren't well, around Silverstone at the very least, aren't always the most exciting, but we definitely had some great on-track action there. Fantastic stuff. We've got Kylo Ren, your winner for the sprint race, with Kevin O'Reilly and Dakar on the podium with him. You've then got Hugo and Verstappen in the top 5. There's Lewis, Lawrence, Griffin, Tomash and Josh the top 10. You've then got Koru, Rick, Jackalacco, Johnny Carr, AMS Palang, LTB, Joey B and Jasper. I think that's the actual results there. There you go. For Ghost's sake. But yes, Kylo and Kevin and Dakar, that podium. Fantastic sprint race start there. We're going to have a little bit of a lull in proceedings now. We've got to retire everybody from the next 2 rounds that have been set up so that we can reset the lobby to make it so that we are going the reverse layout of Silverstone. But hello to everybody in the chat. Johnny Carr, hopefully we've got you back in now for good. I haven't heard from you since, so seems that way. Hello Ghost. What film did you go and watch with your partner? I'm interested. Hello Josh, cheering on Hugo there as well. But yes, if you're a Tier 1 driver and you're listening to the stream so far, just make sure you retire from the session and then retire from the next session to make this process smooth and glitch free as possible, please. Just making sure everybody knows what to do. In the chat here. There we go. Everybody retiring. And as we go through. Oh dear, Rubiaski in the barrier there. Not looking in the best shape. But I'm just waiting. There we are. Fantastic stuff. I mean, I don't know how they took those tyres that far. In all honesty, but they're cheaters. We all know it. I'm only joking, of course, but I'm just jealous that my tyre wear isn't that good. I did see what you just did, Lawrence. I don't know if you're talking about your retirement just now, but I did see you actually get some points in that sprint race, which is exciting. I don't get it. If you are cheating, Denko, send me your cheats, and then we can all cheat together. Share the love. Share the love. I wonder what weather we'll get for the reverse race. I think it's been dry in all cases so far. Go slow to win. Oh, I don't believe in going slow. All out or nothing. Yeah, to be honest, it didn't look as wet as it did, say, for the one shot we had in tier 2 that got reset. It didn't look. I thought it was Inters. Let's see what funny stuff you'll see on the start here from everybody. Here's a few drive-throughs. The McLarens. Absolute carnage on the grid, please. Everybody crash. No. It's a graveyard. It's a graveyard on the Hamilton Straight. Look how many cars there are. Oh dear. Blang will be happy he's leading a race. That's fine. I'll just have to be a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little less scared of punctures, perhaps. And then maybe I can make it work. Let's see. Hugo looked pretty decent in the sprint there. It's going to be hard to tell what his race pace will be in the dry, but he's definitely in the mix with the top 4. I think had it not been for the wet conditions, he might have got himself on the podium. But not enough laps. Very slippery, tricky conditions. Well, see, that's the thing with Silverstone, Denko. The tyre wear is very high, but the tyres don't feel any different from 0% all the way up to, you know, the extremes of 85. Is what I found. So I could just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and I felt no difference in how the tyres went. Where on other tracks, you know, the tyres, you know, the grip is lost, it's understeer, foul out of the corners, but I don't know. Kevin says he's good in the wet. I mean, that was a solid result. Only 7 points, sadly. But you never know, you can pray for a wet race. The weather isn't carried over. It is still completely dynamic and random. So there's still every chance for a wet race and or quali. So don't count those chickens just yet, as we don't know what the conditions are going to be. But yeah, expect Hugo to be up there. This is definitely going to be a Red Bull and Sauber affair. And I think Red Bull need to be doing everything they can to take points away from the Saubers, because they've got that big 43-point lead. They've done well on this first race. They've gained a few points, but they're going to need more than a handful. A 1-2 would do wonders. A 1-3 wouldn't hurt either. But you need to hope that, and I don't hope this, but you know, bad luck for your competitors is all I'm saying. Because it helps. Bad luck goes in your favour in motorsport. No, in all sports, really. So we had a few people just leave the session. We'll have to try and get those people back in, which is a bit annoying. got to get everybody back into the lobby, and then we can hopefully get back on track and racing. But you've seen the sprint race and the spring qualifying. Those of you who are watching, predictions perhaps for pole for the top 3, and what you're seeing so far. Do you think it's going to rain, or is it going to stay dry? A wet race around sprint Silverstone reverse will be very interesting. As you know, that first 3 corners, that sort of Club, Vale and Stowe, all quite difficult, I think, to get right, especially those first 3. Especially. But it looks like we've got everybody back in. Do we have a Ghost as well? No, Ghost's looking like he's going to sit out completely, but that's fine. I'm sure he's in the chat. It still hasn't told me what film he's watching or watched. Oh, you did tell me. I just missed it, Ghost. Now you see me. Fair enough. I don't know. Not seen it. I think I've seen the first one. Can't remember if I saw the second one. I don't know. I feel like heist films have lost a bit of their relevance, I think. It certainly won't be. I don't think it's going to be the biggest hit of November. Not with Wicked Part 2 right around the corner. I've seen. Those of you who don't know, I work at a cinema, and I have seen pre-sales for Wicked, and it's very busy so far. And those tickets have been on sale for like 2-3 weeks now. Well, not probably about a week or 2 actually. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on. We've got a one-shot qualifying to call, and we're going to try and ride on board with Kylo Ren again. If we can get him. It's dry for the qualifying session. Are the hearts of the drivers sinking perhaps for a wet race? Or are they breathing a sigh of relief as it's going to be dry? We'll find out. The lap times are pretty similar around here. If you remember, pole the first time around was a 1:26.0, and that was set by Dakar. So actually, I think we should ride on board with... let's ride on board with Kylo. He's the championship leader. I already made up my mind. I'm not going to change it. Let's hope the game gives us Kylo straight away, because it's very annoying having to sift through and find him. Oh, this is so irritating. Hold on. Kylo Ren, there he is. We got him. We got him. Right, through the Vale chicane he goes. Look pretty hooked up from Kylo Ren. Hugo's leading the way as they go through, though, into Stowe Corner now. Just a lift on the throttle, really. Through in 6th gear. Use all the track. Don't touch the gravel is what Kylo's done. And this battle between the Sauber's and Red Bulls is heating up in this qualifying session. Kylo currently 4th in that particular fight. But there's LTB as we go the wrong way through Maggots and Beckett's. And then down towards Copse Corner now. And if you get on that grass, you can survive it, but the car just won't turn in the dirty air. But none of that here, as it's looking like a Red Bull 1-2. Hugo was a master at Austria reverse. It looks like he's mastering Silverstone reverse so far, but there's still plenty of lap time to be found. But Kylo through Luffield, through Brooklands now, onto this, I want to say it's Wellington Straight, or it might be the Hangar. I can always get them confused. Anyway, in towards Aintree, and now the loop. Important sector to get right. It's still looking like Hugo on for pole position, but there's QVR Verstappen. Perhaps it could be any of these top 4 as we make our way through Farm and through Abbey. And let's see as they go through now. It's Hugo at 1:25.8, and it's Kylo locking out the front row for Red Bull, and a Sauber 3-4. We'll find out which order they were in, but it was those 4 drivers all in for shot at pole position the whole way round. But it's going to be Hugo who takes pole position here at Silverstone reverse. You've then got Kylo Ren lining up on the front row alongside him. There's then Kvyat, Verstappen, Dakar and LTB, the top 5 with Rick, Jasper, Lewis, Kevin O'Reilly and Josh, the top 10. Then there's going to be Jack Alacco, Lawrence, Johnny Carr, Griffin, Rubialski, AMS Palang, Joey B and Koru and Tomash there as well, who didn't set lap times. So the 19 cars here on the grid. That was incredibly close between these four. There's just over 3/10 between the top 4 drivers. If that doesn't tell you we're going to be in for a solid evening of racing, then I don't know what will. And it's dry, much to the chagrin of the spectators who wanted a nice wet race, I'd imagine. But it's dry, and that's not terrible. Tier 2 had a fantastic race on Tuesday. If it wasn't for all those cheaters on the one stop, then I would have won, but we move on. 4th place is a very solid result for me, considering. And we'll see what sort of strategies we go for, because it looked like an all-around 2-stop for Tier 3. But the 1-stop worked for Tier 2 drivers, and I think there will be some Tier 1 drivers who try it here again. But we'll find out soon enough. It's going to be very intriguing. I don't know how Triku took soft tyres about 10 or 11 laps, however long he took them. It's ridiculous. But here we go then. We are 5 red lights for the start of this race here at Silverstone Reverse, and we're underway and racing. There's no sound, but that's fixed itself as we've gone along, and it's a solid start for Hugo there as well, and the 2 Saubers have got a good getaway as well. Is there anybody flying down the inside? There's 3 wide almost here, further back between Rick, Jasper and Kevin. I think that is Rick and Kevin side by side through the Vale chicane. Now the 2 Alpines. It's a Sauber. That's Dakar way down off the circuit. Has he got damage? He hasn't, but he's dropped all the way down to P13 as the leaders run away with this now. But there's a big battle going on behind them. It's the Haas, I think, of Joey B getting involved in all this fighting, and they're all going through at Chapel now, and there's Lawrence in the background there as well, and you've got Griffin. They're all filtering through, and that's Jasper, who's perhaps gone off circuit, or I'm not sure what happened to him, but he's plummeted down the order as Dakar's trying to make moves here as well. And off the track goes Jack Alacco and a bunch of other cars as well. It's so easy to do through this layout of Cobb's Corner. That dirty air just forces the car to not turn. Let's get everybody up. Let's go in position changes. Rubialski up 8 places. Palang up 6. Lewis up 4. Fantastic starts there as well. Dakar's dropped 9 places off the start. Jasper has dropped 12. And here's your strategy, everybody. And it's softs for Palang, mediums for most everyone else. And then Koru and Rick, the only drivers to start on the hard, as that's Rubialski into the pits already. And I think that's damage maybe on the Haas. Is there a front wing waiting for him in the pit lane? We'll find out in just a moment. It's such a long pit lane here. Just keeping my eye. I think Kevin O'Reilly's on the attack here, actually, of Rick. He's getting close to the back of the McLaren. I think DRS is activated now, and he's going to go for a move, perhaps. Looking to the outside, which soon becomes the inside. Braking late, well, the McLaren. Rick gives him all the space possible. And they very nearly touched there as well. Did Rubialski get a new front ring? We'll never know. Meanwhile, who's that dropping down the order? That's Palang. He's had a moment there as well. Griffin's had a moment as well. You've got to think perhaps they came together as Koru and Joey B swap places in towards Cobb's Corner. 2 Fries trying to make progress. Rick up there on the hard tyres as well. He's fighting with Kevin O'Reilly, who tried to make a move in the start. Lewis has been promoted into the top 4 and actually has dragged his way into the battle for the lead here as well. LTB's not too far off them, but I think Dakar might be a bit disappointed with this start to this race. I wonder if he's got any superficial damage. Damage that we can't see on that Sauber. I'm not sure, but he seems to be circulating fine as fast as that was being traded between these top 5 drivers now, as LTB has dragged his way in. Big gap to Rick, about 2.2 seconds back from the lead pack here, and we might see some great battling, but the forming of the DRS chains was inevitable, and it's now going to be about how you navigate them, because it's rather frustrating trying to navigate them here at Silverstone. Rick, he defends the inside this time, which then becomes the outside for Kevin as they go through Chapel. And I think this time he was able to use the grip of the mediums. They have a little bit of contact, but no harm done there as Kevin finds his way into P6 now. Can he use that pace to go forward as Rick gets very close to the back of him? And does he go off the circuit? He does, into the grass. That invites Josh through as well. And that's another place lost for Rick in a matter of corners. And there's Josh down the inside now of Kevin O'Reilly into Lovefield. There's nothing Kevin can really do. He's stuck on the outside. Oh, and he's been sent around by Rick there as well. And Jacko's through. Rick loses another place. And I think that's going to be one for the stewards as Lawrence gets his way past Kevin as well as his teammate Tomash. Does Daker look for a move on the McLaren of Rick in towards Abbey? Oh, it's so close. That's Village and now Farm. I always get those mixed up. Anyway, but Daker all the way around the outside of Farm and through Abbey he goes. And that's up to P8 for Daker in the Sauber as Rick and Lawrence aside. No, Rick and Tomash, sorry, are side by side. P9 now for Tomash. I think there's only one word in Kevin's mind, and that would be karma. Losing all those places. It's the stewards will be looking at that one for sure. Drive-through. It was a drive-through. You know what, I didn't see. I don't know how he picked that up. They must have jumped the start. Meanwhile, though, it's all a bit calm here. Yeah, very true. Dirty air. Dirty air as well. That does not help. It's very prominent here at Silverstone. These DRS trains as Lawrence and Rick are fighting. Lawrence is through. Is the Coru in the Ferrari going to find his way through there side by side through Luffield here. Rick's going to have the inside for Brooklands, and they bang wheels, and Rick goes through. Kevin O'Reilly looking for a way past Coru there as well. They're also very close together through there. Rubbing is racing, as they say, and I think that was nothing more than that. Kylo Ren holding station for now. I think he'll want to win this race, though. I don't know if there's going to be team orders at Red Bull, but we're not worried about that right now because Verstappen's putting the pressure on as Daker into the pits already after 5 laps. We'll see if he's got that damage that I was speculating as Palang gets a 10-second time penalty. Very easy to do. Let's see. Are they waiting with a wing at the Sauber garage? They are not, but it's going to be hard tyres for Daker and a long, long way back to those top 5 positions. You've got to think that this is a big moment in the constructors if he can't do it. Meanwhile, though, Verstappen looking very racy with these Red Bulls, able to go through as the LTB gets onto the grass there and gets all sorts of out of shape. Verstappen really trying to use all the track possible and throw his car through Luffield there as well. You can see it all over that curb. The car not agreeing with him, but wrangling it under his control for now. As the 2 Red Bulls have got control, but this Sauber draws ever closer, looming in 3rd place as they've dropped the 2 behind, Lewis and LTB. They're going to fight between themselves for P4. But this is the battle at the front, and QVR Verstappen into the pits. So it is going to be the 2-stop, most likely, for the Saubers. Very interesting stuff indeed. He'll go on to a set of hards now as well. Johnny Carr, 10 seconds of speeding. I think we're going to see a lot of that. Joey B's in as well. Griffin's in. Lewis in the pits as well. Oh, that's bad for Griffin. No, it's not. It's such a long pit lane. The double stack is, I wouldn't say impossible, but not as possible, if that makes sense. Let's see where this undercut's put Dakar, though. You can see his teammate. There he is. Not in. There we go. Dakar's... You can't see him on shot right here. He's 3 cars back, though. He's in 15th. And he's lost a lot of time. He's got to get it. Yeah, well, we'll see how well the tyre wear will be for the Red Bulls. I think a lot of people in Tier 2 were coming in around laps 6 to 9. So there's every chance that these two come in. We'll see what Hugo's tyre wear's like. Let's see as he gets through Village there. This keeps going. Kylo keeps going. LTB keeps going. All these leaders continue to go on. Meanwhile, Jackalaka up in P5. He's got Tom Asher Company who peels into the pit lane. That's Josh with a 10-second time penalty under his name. Tom Asher avoids one, thankfully for himself. There's Coro. QVR Verstappen. Where's he going to come out in relation? He should pass all of those cars in the pits. Quite easily, you'd have to think. Yeah, there he goes. How about Dakar? Dakar's important. He needs that clear air for any chance. They certainly did. But meanwhile, the top 3 still circulating as they are. Although LTB has closed in quite rapidly. He's 1.1 away from the top 2 here. There's not a lot of fighting going on there. Everybody's sort of split up after the pit stops. QVR Verstappen. Let's see what that gap to leader is. It's 26 seconds. Now, with this pit lane, I want to say the time loss is around 26, 28 seconds. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But QVR could get a decent undercut here. He's got nothing but clear air ahead of him. Neither of the Red Bulls come in again, so you've got to think the one stop is what they're going to do. I wish I could see their tyre wear. It'd be very interesting to see. Verstappen through Lawrence now into the pits after 8 laps. Or 7 laps, I should say. On his mediums. QVR Verstappen's going to come out ahead of him. Of course he is. Dakar's going to get ahead as well. Lawrence just released from his pit box now. He was racing around, I want to say, Palang and Rubialski. Rubialski's in the pits again. Johnny Carr there as well. Let's see where Lawrence comes out. There's not a lot of on-track fighting right now. It looks like he might be completely undercut by all of this train here, and he is. He's going to be even behind Kevin O'Reilly, but he's actually going to be released right into the fray of things, and in fact is ahead of Kevin O'Reilly. Very deceiving pit exit it is through here as Rick passes Joey B on the exit of Stowe Corner, moving up to P14. Coron and Jasper for company, so everybody from Verstappen down have now made their stops. 60% if they're managing. I mean, what? Let's say they need to get to at least lap 10, 12 at the very latest to pull off this one stop. In theory, or pull it off comfortably at the very least. None of them are in though, but they're not fighting each other, which is definitely helping, as you say in the chat. As Jackalako now into the pits. I think he'll come out in between Kevin and Griffin there, as they're all coming through in and out of the box. Getting made, stopping at lap 9, really. Well, we're into lap 9 now, so if this is the window, you've got to think they're going to take it. But then, are they in a chat? Are they communicating? Is there any possibility that they both come in at the same time? I mean, surely you've got to think if Hugo comes in and Kylo sees that, then Kylo stays out for the lap. Because you lose an enormous amount of time in this pit lane. Let alone if you're double stacking with your teammate. But all these guys very close together. That's Jack Alacco, Joey B and Lawrence. Kevin O'Reilly gets past Lawrence as Lawrence has gone deep in Chapel there as well. They're coming through towards the pits now, so let's figure it out. Are they peeling in? Let's see what Hugo's going to do. Continues to circulate. Kylo Ren continuing to circulate. I would wager that they're in between now and lap 12. I think that's what they're doing here. And they're going to make that one stop work. And the question is going to be now, do the Saubers even get on the podium? If they're pulling off the two-stop, as Jasper and Koru are in the pits now, is this two-stop going to be viable for them? It's very interesting. LTB has been very impressive right now, especially to catch back up. He was 2.2 seconds off the leaders before the Sauber stopped. And now he's found his way back into contention in this top three. There's not a lot of fighting going on, but this is a very strategic race here. And you can see now, there's Cora and Jasper. They're out behind Griffin, I want to say. Yes, behind Griffin. No, just ahead of him, in fact, as Griffin tries to find a way around the outside of Stowe Corner. Not going to work, as Griffin is going to try and make a move on Jasper, as he know. Jasper pulls away, and they'll be left to warm up those tyres. Koru onto the mediums now. I think he started on hards. I don't think those mediums are going much further, so Koru's on a two-stop then. Surely. He's dead. I can't see him getting those mediums to the end. I mean, it's possible, but there it is. Kylo Ren's pulled the trigger in the top three fight. LTB's followed him as well. Most importantly, no 10-second time penalties. So, will Kylo undercut Hugo? I don't think so. You've got to imagine Hugo will come in at the end of lap 11. Well, let's see. There goes QVR Verstappen now. So the undercut is on, but remember, he's stopping again. And I'll be interested to see what the gap is. Daker's back through now as well. So they're your top three for the two-stop. I think if you're any of these top three drivers now, or sort of anyone who gets ahead of, say, Kylo and the other Red Bulls, is Kylo just gets ahead of Tomasz. But LTB is in amongst the fight of Tomasz and Josh. That's not going to help him with his tyre wear. But you want a safety car maybe after Hugo pits. Couple laps after. That'll completely neutralise the race. Put everyone back onto not the exact same strategy, but onto equal footing. And then, well, we'll have an exciting dash to the end. But I think if you are on those Saubers, that's your only hope, really. If the tyre wear is that bad. Meanwhile, LTB, he's got Tomasz to navigate there. Tomasz doesn't have a penalty. There's penalties for a few other drivers, though. Fastest lap is currently Daker. Penalties, though, 10 seconds for Josh, Palang, Johnny Carr, 3 for Lawrence and Rick. As far as penalties go, but there's Hugo now. Here's Kylo Ren. Let's ride on board with Kylo. He's coming through. Hugo's leaving the pits now. So Kylo's going to come through here. Can't quite see Hugo on the board. Can you see him coming through? There's Hugo in the background. So Kylo Ren is going to be your effective race leader. And most interestingly is LTB is going to be ahead of him. And Hugo, he's got some cars to pass. But again, I think Tomasz and Josh are going to be on that two-stop. So Hugo's lost out 2 places. LTB's gained second, and Kylo Ren has gained first now with the undercut. So I think, yeah, Kylo, the ball was in his court there, I think. I think Hugo... I don't know if they're communicating. If they are, then fair play. But if they're not, then I think as Daka gets a move done through Luffield while I'm rambling on, and is up ahead of Lewis. In the meantime, it's a 1-2 for Sauber right now, but I dread to think it... if they're going to try and go to the end. I don't think they will. There's no way. Not if the tyre wear's as bad as we're predicting. But yes, if they're not communicating, then yes, Kylo did get one over there on his teammate. But if they are, then yeah, that's probably something they agreed to, perhaps. But I'm not sure. I don't have that much insider information as to what everybody's doing. But look at this gap, by the way. 7 seconds between Hugo and Jack Alaco. Two distinct groups of cars here. I think Josh is having a quietly impressive race. Has to be said, although that 10-second time penalty is going to ruin everything. All of that hard work will be for nothing, as he will lose all that time. You've got to think he's going to come in soon, as Hugo's got past him through Chapel. Griffin and Joey B having a bit of a exchange of places as well. Griffin gets past Joe. Joe slots in behind. Josh still close to the back of Hugo. Those fresh hards will be serving him well. I don't think QVR Verstappen will be entirely out of this. This is a good time to check. 22. So in theory, if he pits early enough, he'll come out sort of around here. So around Jack, Kevin and Koru, as Lewis is in the pits now. And if he's able to come out in some form of clear air, or at least get past them quickly, then he might still be able to have a go with the pace that he's got. But it's going to be a lot to do in not that many laps. Or he goes into complete tyre management and tries to get to the end, which I don't think is going to be possible. It's 13, well, I'd say 12 and a half laps really left to go at this stage. So that's going to be difficult. It'll be impressive if he pulls it off. But you have to think he's coming in. But meanwhile, Kylo Ren is gaining and gaining and gaining on Dakar, and is now within DRS range. It won't be DRS until they get out of Stoke Corner. Onto the hangar straight. Dakar dropping time though. Or does Dakar hold him up? You've got to think it's going to be a hard thing to do at Silverstone. I mean, passing is quite easy here. But no, Dakar comes in. So Dakar's pulled the trigger. He's going to be in, and I think he'll be... He'll probably be behind Joey B. Yeah. Definitely behind Joey B. LTB, meanwhile, still hasn't managed to pass Tomasz. The DRS train not helping him out at all. Oh, there's a yellow flag, but no doing there. It's Palang dropping places once again. There's Dakar exiting the pits now. Yeah, he should get ahead of Lewis. As they exit, we'll see. Oh, it's going to be tight. There's Lewis. There's Dakar. Lewis just ahead. So Dakar's going to be way out of this. He'll have to try and claw something back. You've got to think QVR Verstappen comes in. Let's see what that gap to leader is again now. Still around that sort of Jacko, Kevin, Koru mark. He'll hope they come in as well, because that will help him and that will put him in clear air and give him a chance. I think QVR Verstappen at worst is on for P4. At worst. Kylo closing in at a rate of knots, but yeah, Verstappen in. Gets it stopped. No dramas. Let's see. Let's ride along with Jack. Because I think he's going to be our best marker as to where they're going to come out. So he hasn't quite stopped. Verstappen is about to pull into his pit box. Let's see. Jackalacko through. Josh was in the pits as well. He gets past Josh and he's going to get past QVR. So now Koru. Koru comes in. So Lawrence then. That's where we're looking at now. Riding on board with Lawrence through the foul chicane he comes. Where's QVR Verstappen? There he is. Shooting past now and he gets ahead of Lawrence into that P7 and into some nice clear air. It's going to be a bit of a task now though. He's got 18 seconds to catch to the leaders. If he can keep the pace, then maybe. But you've got to think it's going to be too difficult from here. Not enough laps is the problem. No. No. Definitely not. I mean, even if he does manage to get past Kevin and Jacko without incident, which he'll probably will because they'll come in, I don't think 18 seconds in, what, 10, 11 laps? Not doable unless you're like 2 seconds a lap quicker. Can't be done. But we'll keep an eye. That's what I'll say. He's got to hope that they start fighting because they're all very close together. Tomasz is dropping away now, which might be a complication. Hugo's caught onto the back of LTB, so these three are going to be fighting each other but for place now. Kylo's got himself a buffer. Into the pits goes Kevin O'Reilly. Dak here with the fastest lap. LTB now pulls the trigger on Tomasz. They're side by side through Chapel now, and the Alpine just gets his way through, leaving Hugo to find his way past this Aston Martin. But you've got to think the Aston Martin will be coming in soon as well, and then that will give Hugo a clear shot at the Alpine. Rubiowski into the pits now as well. LTB trying to catch up with Kylo. He's doing everything right so far for this race win. It's going to be a three-car fight to the end. Let's see what Hugo does. He's very handy at finding moves in unconventional places, let's say. Let's see if he can find a way through into this tricky little section. No doing there. He's just going to be patient. Maybe he looks to the outside of a village like a certain tier 2 driver, but doesn't find his way through. And in fact, Tomasz, yeah, into the pits he comes, as I expected, and lets these three go. So it's now Jackalacko, the last of the drivers on a 2-stop to pit, and then that's going to put QVR Verstappen, as I said, as Jacko peels in. Johnny Car's out, and safety car! There we go! Now he's catching up Dake, or Denko, I should say. And that has thrown the race on its head as Johnny Carr and the Ferrari crashed. I want to say that was on the run down to Woodcote, and now we've got a race on our hands. The Sappers will be kicking themselves thinking, damn, why couldn't that happen before those Red Bulls pit, or just after they pit or whatever. Yeah. If only they stayed out longer. But they're going to be in it. You've got to think that Kylo and Hugo take the opportunity to pit. Do the Saubers put the softs on, you think? That is the question. You've got to expect some people to stay out. I mean, Jasper and Lewis had just come in. I think Jacko will be happy with the timing of that safety car for his race. He's a big winner here. It's very interesting now. Yes? No. Well, some of them do. Jackalacko should, because he hadn't come in yet before the safety car. He stayed out. And that's played well into his hands. Oh, he's got to. I mean, if you're Verstappen, Tomasz, Dake, you're staying out, surely. Unless you're going to take a leaf out of Tricky's book and put on a set of softs. Let's see what happens. The leaders are all in. We expected that. Jackalacco's going to pit in. There he goes. QVR Verstappen, yeah, stays out. Where is he going to be? Interestingly, I think he'll take the lead of this race. LTB's put the softs on. QVR Verstappen takes the lead. Tomasz now. Again, it's a very tricky and deceiving pit lane. There's Kylo coming up to the line, and I think Tomasz will be behind him. Oh, this will be interesting. They're all going to slot in. There they go. There goes LTB. And Hugo is going to be the big loser here. He's had to double stack, and he's lost a bunch of places now to the likes of Lewis Dacker and Tomasz. Very interesting. LTB, not necessarily threw away a podium. I mean, remember Triku did pretty well on those softs in Tier 2. So I wouldn't count him out completely, but you've got to think Tomasz is in a very good spot to snatch a podium here. Daker's back in this race. And again, I was saying earlier, I suppose he's in Triku. But we don't know. LTB's relatively new here. We don't know what his tyre wear's like. But we know he's got the pace to be up there with his leaders, so we'll see. But yeah, you've got to think that... you've got to remember, sorry, that despite the wear, the tyres don't feel any different. Oh, here he gets past... Kylo's in lap to lose preferential pit. This is 4 spots because he has to double stack with the safety car. Yeah, I mean... Let's say, for the sake of the argument, that Kylo and Hugo aren't communicating with each other. Then, if you're Hugo, you're in complete control of when you pit. And I think he had to have known his teammate had every opportunity to undercut him, and did. And I think it was, in this situation, you don't have race engineers telling you what to do. You just have your own instincts. So. That's Hugo's choice, and in that instance he made the wrong run if it was for keeping the lead. But that's the nature of the beast. That's motorsport for you. Split decisions decide races, or split second decisions decide races. But I'd wager that we might be going racing after this lap, although Kevin O'Reilly's just peeled into the pits now. So maybe we'll go one more rotation, which is only helping the likes of QVR, really. QVR. Yeah, exactly. Hugo can push. But I think, in all honesty, he has got Tomasz to contend with. That's who Hugo's racing really here. I mean, yes, he's racing Dacker and Lewis as well. He's got to get past him. But if we're looking at tyre delta, Hugo is racing Tomasz and LTB. Let's see. Is that safety car light off? I think it is. No, it's still going. Is Kevin going to catch up in time? You have to wait to say no. I haven't seen the message yet, but it'll be about here that we get it. If any time. That's Kevin and that's Cora and Griffin exchanging places. That looks like it's caused a bit of confusion towards the back as they retake places. Yeah, but it looks like we're going to go round again. So one more rotation of the circuit. Oh yeah, he's got to defend hard. He's got, this wins on the line here. Dacker, that early incident. I mean, he's back in the top 5. which is good, but he's got to try and hold on to it now. I think we've got a bit of... I don't know what's going on. Why are people overtaking each other under safety car here? Has Hugo somehow lost out to Jack? And now Hugo can't get past. And so he's lost another place. But you've got to remember, guys, if the game tells you to overtake, do not overtake, because it really messes everything up. Really messes everything up. He's trying to overtake Jack, but he really shouldn't. Oh, Kevin, that sucks. I mean, I would expect Jacko would do the decent thing at the restart and maybe give him the place, but... Or maybe he's trying to do that now, but... I think that's more of a game incident rather than a driver incident, you've got to say. Because in theory you can get penalised for what they're doing right now, which is driving side by side under safety car. That is in the penalty guidebook. But we're going to go racing again. Let's ride on board with Kylo Ren. QVR Verstappen is going to be in charge. He's got from when the safety car enters the pit lane up until the start-finish line to get this race going again. And it's a little like... no, I wouldn't say it's like Brazil. I'm trying to say what sort of circuit this is like, but... This is like any, but there's QVR Verstappen. He's gone already. Has he caught Kylo napping a little bit? Perhaps, as he's gained a big gap and he's got this restart perfectly to start us off for the last few laps of this reversed Silverstone Grand Prix, and everybody's off and going. Will Chakalaka give Hugo the place back under safety car? That's definitely going to be something looked at by the stewards later on. Lewis is very deep through Vale and they both get past there. And I think the Alpine of Jasper's going to go right the way around the outside of the RB, and it's going to get the move done. Is Hugo going to get past this McLaren there as well? Let's take a look. No, Jacko is going to hold on to the place. He doesn't see any reason to give it back. And so it's race on. But QVR Verstappen got the restart well, and this is a good start for his campaign to win this race. There's a 3-lap difference between the hard tyres between Kylo Ren and Verstappen, and I don't think that's going to matter all too much between them. But Kylo's going to really have everything he can to push. Verstappen, though, holds on now. We'll get DRS on the next lap. LTB doing well on the softs. He's going to be ever present in that Alpine for the first few laps as we go back to racing. You can see how much of an advantage these softs are giving him. Kylo goes a little bit defensive in towards the loop there, or entry on the loop, but doesn't go for the move, does the Alpine. And there's Tomasz thinking about it as well. Does he try and get the up and under through Village? No, not quite. Dakar dropping back though, and that's going to help Hugo in his campaign to charge back forward after this top 4. DRS enabled once again, and they can get this race right underway. There's Hugo all over the back of the McLaren of Jackalacco. Can he get anywhere in this race? The Red Bull has lost out under the safety car due to the double stack. Let's see, he's got all this pace. Look, he's all over the back of Jack here already. Both on fresh, hard tyres, more or less. Those laps only really matter to under there. But Tomasz is on the attack. He's very close to the back of the Alpine there. No doing for him. Hugo still can't get past. He looks. He's all over the curb through Chapel, but no way through. And riding over those red sausage curbs has slowed him down enough to give Jacko some breathing room as they go for, I think, a little bit desperate now is the driving here if you're trying to make up places. And Jasper's going to be invited into the fray as well as Kylo Ren makes a move on the leader though. He's got up the inside at Lovefield. Kylo Ren is under still pressure though as Verstappen tries to fight it back, and he's going to draw level with him as they go down towards Abbey and the loop. I'm getting my corners confused. Shut up, Sumo. As QVR Verstappen down the inside of the loop there as well. It takes the lead back as well. They're all still fighting here for the front of this race. Through Village they go. QVR Verstappen keeps it. And a little bit of drama in towards Sector 3 for this race lead. Verstappen holding on. It's Aintree. It's Aintree, that corner. As Hugo looks for a move down the inside of Club, you've got to think that that was going to happen. And it was contact between the two, and Hugo loses another place. You've got to be patient. I know it's frustrating, these DRS trains, but impatience really, really does not go well with motorsport. And you can see that with Hugo there right now, I think. Just trying for moves in risky areas. And you've got to think an incident would have occurred there. But we'll leave that for the stewards. Yeah, the game bit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what the specifics are of the situation later on, because that will 100% end up in the stewards' room. As Koru's now out of the race, crashed in the same place as his teammate did. That's both Ferraris claimed by Copse Corner. But we've got 2.5 laps, or 2 and a bit laps, I should say, left of this race. Locking up his QVR Verstappen, doing everything he can to hold on. Excuse me. Verstappen got Kylo Ren in his mirrors. Dake's in this as well. He's climbed his way into the DRS. Let's see Hugo, Jasper and Jackalacco, the fight for P6 right now. No way for Hugo right now, but back to the leaders. Rubialski, a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Let's see, Kylo Ren has got a decent gap to Verstappen now, so Verstappen's going to be feeling a little less pressure at this time. But the DRS train around here is so frustrating. I've had first-hand experience of that in Tier 2. You can have all the pace you want, but if you can't get through the dirty air and the DRS train, then it's not it's not as simple as that, though, Denko, because we encourage drivers not to be messing around on the safety car, despite what the game says. So it can cause more harm than good, actually taking the penalty. But anyways, as Tomash, what's happened to Tomash? As Dake's got involved as well, and Kylo and QVR swap places again. I've missed the swap for the lead, but QVR Verstappen is pushing that Red Bull through, and down the inside he goes through the loop there as well. They're fighting once more, and he's going to go for the up and under. Surely is QVR trying to get the better exit, doesn't quite do it. Kylo Ren now takes the lead of this race while we're rambling on, talking about safety car overtakes. But it's Verstappen and Kylo, they're still going for it. It's the last lap here. You've got to think Verstappen's going to use everything he's got available. Let's see, battery. Kylo has less battery than Verstappen. Verstappen's tyres, though, I think letting him down. A little bit of a kick of oversteer through the exit of the club. Fails chicane. It's the reverse that's messing around with me. And that's not going to help him, but closing in again is QVR Verstappen. He'll have one more chance in towards Luffield there as well. We've got to focus on this battle, I think. Through Maggots and Beckett's now they go. And it's going to be one final chance for Verstappen. Let's see if he can draw close to the back of that Red Bull. LTB looks like he might hold on for the podium here if he can make it round the last few parts of the circuit. QVR Verstappen, though, is not close enough to make a move. Or does he go really, really late on the brakes? No, but Kylo does go a bit deep into the corner and takes a late apex, and that's going to help Verstappen draw closer perhaps, and Kylo does go wider through there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Kylo got the move done. It looked like through Luffield and Brooklands, and I think it's going to be all or nothing from Verstappen. Oh, deep goes Kylo in again. But I think one more proper corner here, and I think that's going to be it. A thrilling end to this race. It's going to see Kylo take a back-to-back win, sprint and feature. QVR Verstappen second. LTB gets his first APP podium, with Daka and Tomash finishing off the top 5. and I think a very frustrated Hugo in that Red Bull car. And I think we're going to see a lot of stewards reports due to that safety car incident. But that's not what Red Bull needed for their championship today. Wow. I'm going to quickly get myself into the party for interviews. With the top two. Start a party there. There we are. As Rick finally comes across the line. As he spins across the line, smacking the barrier. There we go. Let's grab Verstappen. Kylo's here, nice and punctual. So I'll quickly run through the order as well. There we go then. Two fantastic races at Silverstone. I think I enjoyed this experiment. I feel like Silverstone is probably the best place for it. But there are your stats there. Fastest lap went to Rick at the end there. And I think driver of the day will go to LTB for his first podium in APP. But Kylo Ren is your race winner with Verstappen and LTB on the podium. You've then got Daka, Tomash, the rest of the top five, with Jack Alako, Jasper, Hugo, Griffin and Lewis the top 10. Then there's Lawrence, Kevin, Rubiowski, Jerry B and Josh, the rest of the points finishers. Rick came home last and took the fastest lap, with then Koru, Palang, Johnny Carr not finishing the race, although Koru was classified. Well then, we'll move on. We've got both our top two in here. We can't talk to LTB, sadly. But we will talk to our race winner, Kylo Ren. And I think there was a point in that race where you must have thought you had it in the bag. Then the safety car comes out, causes a bit of carnage. But how was that race for you, Kylo? Yeah, I mean, the sprint looked very tricky out there in the wet, but there wasn't all that much to that race to talk about. But I mean, one of the talking points actually was I didn't know if you and Hugo had communicated, because he had every opportunity to pit before you did, but you took the chance. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, but I think all in all, perhaps not the best result for the Constructors' Championship, but for your Drivers' Championship defence, Dakar off the podium will help. You've got Verstappen there, he's chasing you down, but you're gonna continue to stretch out a point lead. How are you feeling about next week Friday for Vegas?
I like Vegas. Apart from that corner, I guess, is that REZ corner, but I do like that track. It's one of my favourite tracks. So hopefully I can do well along there and continue to win the championship.
Yeah, well, definitely far past the days of your P2 stretch. So continue the way to run in form, and this championship might finally be yours, Kylo.
Thank you.
Cool. And we'll quickly talk to Verstappen there as well. And I think an up and down race for you and Dakar there, Verstappen. But I said in the stream, the pair of you must be hoping for a safety car, and it came. But how was that race for you?
Yeah, for me to practice beforehand, I knew the tire wear was absolutely awful. Like, I was struggling to even make the two-stop work. I knew I had pace, so I was just kind of thinking, let's just try a two-stop, see where it ends up, and just push all the way through. And honestly, for the start, it was alright. I got stuck behind both Red Bulls, so I decided to pit a lap earlier. Obviously, they were safe, and so that kind of makes sense as well. The dirty air is awful, so you really just don't want to be stuck behind another car around here. Pitted early, and then just hoped and prayed I could make up enough time. And in the end, we got a safety car, so I got the lead there. And then, just trying to hold on. And for a few laps, because I knew the dirty air was awful, I just tried to make use of that in the right places. But the stretch down towards Luffield, basically out of Copse, I knew that was the opportunity you'd have to take if you want to make an overtake. So I just tried to hold on as much as I could. But the first time around, I think we went side by side. It just about worked as we went down into basically the final chicane. And after that, the second time, he just got the better exit out of Brooklands. But all around, I'm very happy with the pace I had, and obviously the result as well, given the fact I probably wouldn't have made a podium if the safety car didn't come out. So all around, pretty happy.
Yeah, I think at one point, I think the best you were looking for was about P4. I think worst case scenario, so the safety car definitely helped out in that regard. But it looked a little bit shaky out there. I mean, Dakar was off the podium. I didn't exactly see what happened to him. Do you have any insight on what happened to Dakar there on that first corner? Or
Yeah, and to the first chicane, I think he came into contact with LTB in some way or form. It all happened behind me, so I didn't really see myself, but I looked backwards and I saw another Sauber in the grass, so kind of could have figured out what happened there. But yeah, that's all I really know. And from there, he just pitted early, tried to get out of the traffic, and kind of recovered decently, almost being on the podium as well. So yeah, I mean, not too bad.
Yeah, definitely a decent recovery. 2 and 4 is nothing to scoff at. But I'll post the same final question as I did to Kylo. How are you feeling about Vegas next week?
Yeah, not great. I made it known in the chat. I'm not a fan of the track. Mostly because I don't really enjoy driving it. I think the pace might be fine-ish, but not my strongest track. But hopefully another battle like I had with Kylo today, with all due congrats to him, and also for keeping it clean, which, can be quite difficult on a track you don't really know.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, well done for holding on to that podium. It wasn't looking on, but the safety car and all sorts gave you every opportunity, and you took it. So well done today. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool, and that's it. Semi-Continental to LTB. I mean, well, fingers crossed he doesn't get reported and lose that first podium, because he put in an impressive drive, and it's definitely my driver of the day there as well. But that's going to be it. Come back and again next time same time, same place for a race around Vegas. We're done with sprints now for the season. There are 4 rounds left to go. Will Kylo continue to stretch his lead in the Drivers' Championship? Will Sauber slip up in the Constructors? We'll wait and see for that. But I have been Sumo. This has been APPF1 Tier 2. And until next time, I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. So goodbye.